team of the discovery and delivery. And together with me in this session, two ladies, Christine Stone, who is Senior Product Manager for Search and Ranking and Exploration Services, and Nili Natan, who is the Product Manager for Primo. In this session, we would like to go over the Primo roadmap highlights. We published it in the Knowledge Center 2 weeks ago. I hope that some of you have already the opportunity to go over that. And we will try to cover it in more details during the session. If you have any questions during the session, please send that in the chat for all the panelists, and we will try to address them during the session. In case we will not have time to respond to all the questions, we will take it offline and we'll respond to any question directly to the one that asked them. So please don't hesitate and send us a question via the chat. I think when we're looking on our discovery strategy and our roadmap as a whole, and I would say I think one of the good things is that it's the same focus area and strategy that we are going with in the last 2 years at least. We're looking on 5 main focus areas. The first one is to continue and provide more discovery functionality, more ways to discover content in a better way and with a new trails and paths, and not only looking for a specific materials that you know, like the known item search. We would like to provide much more discovery functionality and take the user from searching specific keywords to a discovery trail. The second focus area is the user experience, and we keep invest a lot of making the user experience better and adding more functionality to the new user interface. And of course, one of the things we are keep investing is the accessibility and of the new user interface. The third focus area is the administrator interface, and I would say that the tools that enable you, the library, to control the discovery experience and customize and change it to best fit your needs as you know it from the user and from your specific institution. And there are a lot of things we are adding in this area, and we will discuss some of them during the session. Openness was always one of our main core item in Ex Libris at all, specifically I would say in Primo, and we are adding, when we are enhancing our openness during 2018, both in API and more capabilities to the developer framework. And last but not least is keep adding more and more content to Primo Central and more capabilities around our central index to enhance the content of it and the metadata we have there. I would say another thing with it, it's important to mention, both in this session and in the document itself, we highlight the major thing that we are doing as part of our roadmap for 2018. But it's, of course, not everything we are doing in 2018. We are doing a lot of other things that are not specifically mentioned in this document, and we will cover them as part of the quarterly webinar and the release webinar we are having every quarter. So bear in mind that what we presented here and what you have in the document in the Knowledge Center, it's mainly the highlights of the roadmap, and we have much more enhancements that we are keep developing, and we'll keep releases in each of our quarterly releases. And talking about quarterly releases, we already published the dates for the entire releases for 2018. We keep working in a quarterly releases basis for Primo. We have the February release we just launched a few weeks ago. And again, the dates you see here are the dates that we are installing the sandbox of the SaaS environment. And we usually send in advance for each of the customer the date that the upgrade of the latest release will perform on his sandbox or in his production. So February release is actually out already. The next release is going to be May release, which will be starting just before Luna time. And then August release and the last release of the year will be November release. And we are actually, again, going to have a webinar for each of the releases on a quarterly basis with much more information that cover the content of this specific release. One thing that's important to me to highlight is that we do have a new deployment flavor of Primo, which is actually optimized for Primo over Alma. It's called Primo VE. And Primo VE, because it's a flavor that's built on top of the Alma product, Alma platform, sorry, it's aligned with the Alma release cycle. So Primo VE is actually have a monthly release cycle. Again, the roadmap is the same content because it's just a different deployment flavor. But Primo VE will be deployed in a monthly cycle in the same dates as the Alma releases. And is published in the Alma release plan. Okay, now we will go into more details for each item of the roadmap, and I will hand over to Christine.
Okay, hello everyone. So search and ranking is not really feature-based as you may find in other areas in Primo. So obviously it's something that is an ongoing process. It's not just you know, the kind of features that we list here. Search and ranking is a lot of research-based. So while we're adding more material and more material types to the index, we do a lot of testing and we're adjusting things. And then obviously we also get feedback from customers, from users, and we do research internally also to see how we can treat the material so the user can actually find it. There are 4 areas that we listed here. The first one is relating to the controlled vocabulary, the search expansion that we introduced last year, and we already expanded it now to the local index. So that was one of the first enhancements that we had earlier this year. We are going to work further on that, so we're going to expand it over time. There's no big step plan for this year, but I think in smaller steps we are going to add more content, and then we're also going to see how we can extend it to other areas. Enhancement to author title searches, that is also an ongoing project. We already added a change in the title search this year that was coming also from one of you to treat the and the ampersand in the same way in the title search. But we're planning other things this year also specifically for known item searches and to treat authors a little bit differently. So it's just for accuracy and precision. Language-sensitive ranking enhancements is something that we want to introduce this year. It's still in research. It's not so simple to define what the user language or where to take the user language from. Obviously, you can take it from the interface language, but you may have someone who is a Chinese user who has a Chinese interface, but they're looking actually for English material. So if they search in English, then they want to have English material come up. So we have to kind of balance this a little bit, and at the moment we are still in the analysis how to define this. And then we're also going to expand the capabilities to deal with search variation and spelling errors. Again, this is really an ongoing project. It's not something where we're going to make a huge step in one or the other direction. As with all the ranking and the searching changes, it's something that we introduce kind of gently, so it's not going to make a huge disruption or cause a real disruption for anyone. We're just introducing these things over time. And again, that is research-based. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Exploration is one of our core strategic areas. Apart from known item searches, this is one of the areas which I think is most interesting to the users. Obviously, users search a lot for topics, also for short topics. We get a lot of short topic searches in the index, but that also means that we need to give them tools to be able to actually go from there and explore and learn and find other material. So we already started 2 years ago, I think, with introducing a citation trail to enable the user to focus on one item and then go and see what citations there are and maybe collect other material by following that relationship and these connections. The citations also give it a little bit of context. So this is also about creating context around material and see how it fits in a specific discipline or topic area. So we're working on expanding this and create formal relationships in the index. So the example that I have here is books and book reviews. And Yuval, if you can click on the next one, because I have an example. So this is really a mock-up. It's not yet a feature. It's not yet something. We are still doing the initial research. We've done one proof of concept, but we need to do another one before we can actually release that. So it's very early days for that. But this is just a mock-up to give you an idea what it's going to look like. So I searched here for a book title, and I found a book. And if I look at the detail view, Lily, can you? Okay, so this is the detail view, and you see on top right that there are 3 book reviews available. So instead of showing the book reviews in the result list, we show the link here in the detail view, and if you click on it, you get to a new result list similar to the citation trail, and on top you have the citation of the book the user looked at. So this is kind of keeping the context of where the user came from, and then below are the book reviews. Other relations we may want to do this for is book chapters and other chapters of the same book, journal articles and articles of the same journal issue, and lots of other relationships, articles and research data sets, and so on. So we're trying to build this up. We're going to build up a repository which is actually creating the relations and keeping it there, and then we will introduce it into discovery so users can use it to go from one item to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yours.
Okay, switching to me, I would like to tell you about enhancement we are going to do with the collection discovery. So in 2017, we released the collection discovery. The feature really excited, allowing the patron exposure to the library special collections. We provided a really cool new interface, allowing hierarchy navigation and much exposure for those digital items. During the year, we saw really nice and beautiful example of customer implementing the collection discovery, taking it to places that we didn't realize that they will go through. We saw example for customer implementing a collection of audio and music collection. We saw customer providing give the patron an exposure to the recent books and giving promotion for books, not only digital items, and many other example of showing exposing the collections. So learning from the way this feature been implemented, we would like to enhance it in a way that we would like, for instance, for those customers that use it for the books. We would like to introduce a new view mode. Currently, students will be able to use gallery or grid view. We will add a list view. So for books, there will be a much more detailed information if it's not a digital item, it's a book. So we will add a list view for the collection gallery. In addition to that, in order to make the collection more discoverable and help, we are going to add a search in the collection to help navigating across the item of the collection. And we are also considering we are now examining an option to provide a full view, a preview for the image. So if a patron navigates to item in the collection discovery, it will be able to have a preview for the image. Currently, it's being navigated by going into the ILS to Alma to see the item or maybe download. So we are examining an option to providing the preview. We are checking how to fetch the item using the standard of the IIIF. This will give us option to handle the variation of image formats, and also using the IIIF API, we can deal with this resizing of the image and make it look being exposed in a really nice manner in this full display. So we are happy to see the example that customers are using for this collection discovery, and we are enhancing and going to refine this feature. I will also would like to share with you that we know that customers are using not only Alma or Rosetta as a repository for the digital items, they are also using other external digital asset management, and we providing a way to integrate Primo with external one. I would like to share with you to show you that we are working with a few customers that are now implementing the collection discovery on top of OpenText, which is another digital asset management, and also with DiskSpace. So if any of the customer willing to work with us for optimizing and integrating with your digital, please, you're welcome to email me. Once we will have this, we will manage to see Primo integrated, we will have this adapter of calling available for all, and we'll happy to share the successful integration of this collection discovery. Okay, next, Christine.
Oh, okay. This is a section which is actually relating to a number of developments. The results are coming usually from first of all different collections, but also from different resource types. We have more and more different things in the index, like audiovisual material, newspapers, but the scholarly articles, all sorts of material. And it's really sometimes a different context in which this material is needed. It's very hard if a user comes into the system just based on a search to say what the user really wants, especially if it's a short topic search. So we're looking at how to best present material, and we have some plans about some specific material types, but it's also an area which is very much in research. The first item that we have here on the list is that we exclude newspapers by default. That is something that we are going to do this year. Actually, it's around an entire feature, because we are going to offer a separate newspaper search, which also has a lot of really nice features. And Neely is going to talk about this later on, so I'm not going to say anything more about that. The second one is to highlight reference entries for short topic searches. And actually, let me come back to this and first talk about the third one, and then because I also have a mock-up to show for the second one. The third one is enhanced display for audiovisual material. This is in research. It's not something where we have a specific idea at the moment, but audiovisual material is really important to many users, and we also have really nice materials like documentaries, instructional videos, and that sort of thing in the result list. But sometimes, because of the mass of material, it's drowned a little bit in the result list. So we're looking at ways to make this a little bit more, what's the right word? well, visualize it a little bit more for the user, so they actually see it at the point of need. But again, it's a research area, so I can't really say specifically what we are going to do. One idea is to also add more thumbnails. That's kind of something basic, but maybe also to display this a little bit differently in future. So about coming back to the second item, the reference entries. We're going to offer an option to show the reference entries on top of the result list. That is particularly for short topic searches. This is, again, a mock-up. So if you search for something like here in this example for global warming, then it will push a reference entry to the top of the result list. That is actually something that we're already doing, but at the moment it just appears on the result list. You may have noticed that for short topic searches that we are offering a mixed result list, or what we call a mixed result list. If you recognize something as a short topic search, then you have on top a reference entry if it's available. And then we have two articles which are usually exact title matches or similar, which are kind of related to more overview type articles. And then we have newer research articles going down to place 10 in the result list. That is the Primo Central result list. Obviously, then you're still blending this local material. But this is how it's built for short topic searches. So for those searches, we're going to separate out the reference entry. There's going to be a certain order in which we rank reference entries. Obviously, it's also to do with your rights, which of the references you have access to and which are not. And we show the first 100 words of the full text. So that is giving the user a nice overview of the topic if they are looking for something like that, and then they can continue through the result list. Okay, so that is yeah. Okay, the other kind of a little bit related topic is, at least in terms of presenting result lists, is an open access flag and facet. That's something that we are planning to add in the May release. We are going to release this as a beta version. It's a beta version because we have not flagged everything yet in the index correctly as open access, let's put it that way. Not everything that is open access is flagged as open access, and that it has to do with the data we get from the publishers, or also with the structure of the index. We have to create separate open access collections, and for some of them we just simply haven't done it yet. And this is going to be extended over time. So we already have a lot of open access collections. We also already started separating out specifically for the primary publishers open access collections, which also contain articles from hybrid journals. And these will all be flagged as available. I should also say that we are not trying to redefine open access in any way, but obviously you have to give it a definition if you want to flag something. We're going to publish a definition on the Knowledge Center. There is already one which is used by Summon, and we are going to use a very similar description for Primo. So if you want to have a look, you already find it under Summon, and we're also going to publish a description for Primo. You see an example here on the screen, a little screenshot on the bottom. So next to the peer-reviewed item, you're going to have an open access icon, and you will also have an availability flag for those items that you don't have available otherwise. So that is coming in May, but again, it's a beta version because we need to build this up over time. We cannot flag from the very beginning everything as open access. I should also say that the key definition of open access for us is free to read. And that is also going in line with what NISO defines as open access in their NISO Alley indicator. It's not about reuse rights or anything, it's really just indicating I can access it and I can read it. And that's the important part without any authentication. So that's the important part for us for a discovery system. Okay.
Oh, this one.
Okay. The results recommender is something that we released last year. The release last year was specifically for database searches, meaning that I'm searching for something like JSTOR or Web of Science or something, and then I get the recommendation. So this was based kind of something that we found in our log files, because a lot of users are coming, in fact, into the system and they're searching for databases. And so you have a database, you have a little tag, and it says Web of Science or something, and if I search for that, I find it. It was not particularly meant for topic searches, but I know that a lot of you already try to use it for topic searches by adding lots of different tags. So in the next release, we are going to use the tags, but we're also going to add things like stemming and inflections, which means that it's using variations of the same term. So every tag you have is actually, we are also using variations of that tag, and the user can find it with variations. This whole area is an area of research, I should also say. I think we had a question in advance from someone who asked about wildcards, tags with wildcards. We're not per se supporting that. You can't just put a wildcard into the tags. But again, we are supporting inflections, and we are supporting stemming and that sort of treatment of tags. And in future, we really would like to associate the user search with a discipline or a topic. But this is something that is currently being in research. It's not mature yet, so we cannot really add this, but this will also support in future that you might be able to associate a resource with a discipline. And then if the user is searching for something and we can associate the search with the discipline, this recommendation will come up. This is, I think, a better way to deal with that sort of resource recommendations, also because it's just limited, you know, the number of tags you can add to something. I mean, how many tags can you add in comparison to what different searches people run? It's just a little bit difficult to keep that, and it's just not that scalable. So it's better to have that match. But again, this is a research going on. It's not mature yet, so we can't really, and I can't really tell you when we're going to be there, that we're going to release that. So in this first enhancement, we're going to make the tags as part as the normal results, and add the normal treatment with inflection, stemming, etc. So you're going to find more variation, or you're going to find the variations, the recommendations based on more variations of the terms. The other enhancement we're planning here is to deal with the display of long descriptions. The resource recommender was actually never meant to have long descriptions, but we saw that some of you actually did want to add, you know, longer explanations of what that resource was. But that is obviously pushing the result list really down on the page. So we're looking at treating this a little bit differently, only showing a certain number of words, and then maybe a button where the user can click if they want to have a full description the full description for that item. So that was about the resource recommender.
Okay, switching to another topic. I will refer to the database A to Z. So last year we released the database A to Z. This feature allowed the students to an easy navigation for a specific database, allowing them to either search for a database by the title or by browsing it by the ABC and by Z. And now, in order to optimize this, we would like to optimize the navigation. We will add the categories. So the platform will have the ability to search for the category, the area that is familiar with. And once clicking on the category, it will be familiar with which databases are associated to that, and then it can find the relevant database to go and start his research or work into. So we plan to build those categories, also to use the knowledge of you, the librarian, with help with specifying each database, for each database, the categories on the mark. And then you will specify the category, and we will know how to build those categories and display this category hierarchy to the user, and allow him, when selecting a category, to view the list of the database that you find that should be associated to that. So this is regarding the categories in the database A to Z. Next, the newspaper search. As Christine mentioned, we are going to introduce a new dedicated interface only for the newspaper search. We would like to optimize the search for the newspaper, allowing the user to search against a separate newspaper index. So doing so, we will provide a better user experience for the newspaper, and library. We're also giving a library the ability to define a feature, what we call the feature newspaper library. We will be able to define special collection, special newspaper collection to expose to the pattern and to allow the pattern navigation of those specific collections. For instance, you will be able to define, this is a mock-up of the newspaper. This will be the new dedicated newspaper interface, landing page for that, and the library can define the featured newspaper. For instance, if I would like to define the historical newspaper or business and finance news, and clicking on that, the pattern will be able to discover and search specific newspaper relevant to this area of scope defined by the library. Then again, once searching in specifically newspaper, the pattern will be able to expand the search to search not only on the newspaper that the library activated for. There will be another option to expand the search and to search across 1 billion of the newspaper, and pattern will be able to get much more metadata about the newspaper. So this cool feature is coming in May release, and that's it for that. Moving next, coming from you, the customer, for the community, a request to add to support the citation style language. So with entering, we are going to support the citation style language. The citation style language is actually an XML-based language that providing a way to define several citation formats in a standard way. So once Primo will be aligned and supporting the citation style language, library will be able to define which citation format to work with and to expose to the pattern to use. So if before having this feature, if we got a lot of requests to add this format and this format. Now having this, integrating this and providing the ability to test and deploy, to work with Primo with each CSL format, you will be able to define your citation format. We are going to provide the ability to add the citation format and to test it before deploying it to production. The way we're going to do it is we're going to map the PNX data and record to the CSL, and this will give you the flexibility to add other citation format. Another subject, another request coming from the nerds working with you closely is the request to add action to my library card. Having this, we will allow the user to perform actions such as email, print, push to the citations, to my citation manager, not only on the records as exist today in my favorites or in the search results, but also to apply those actions to the loans and requests that he had in the my library, and that is being exposed in my library card. So this is a much having this will have a much better user experience for that. I can also share with you that we are planning not only to add those actions to my library card, but we also saw in the ideas exchange voted very highly the request to add action to a bulk of the record in the search results. So we are also examining and checking options to edit for a better user experience also in the search results as well. Okay, next also I would like to share about an updates on Zotero. So with the moving to the new interface and with having a new technology, the Angular technology over there, the Zotero plugin that allow the user to push to detect library record and push it to the push citation to the Zotero stops work correctly. So at first we develop a way to extract the data by coins in order to help Zotero to detect those records. We added the metadata using the coins format on the PNX record, and we got feedback from you that it's not enough. There are some lack of metadata and disadvantage of working with Zotero on top of the coins. So we work closely with the Primo working group on that, and with the help of the Primo working group, we managed to contact Zotero developers and work together to make it available to the Zotero to detect the library record on top of the new Primo UI. I can tell you that currently Zotero 2 weeks ago released an update to the Zotero plugin, and on top of February release, you will now be able to detect, to work in efficient way with the Zotero plugin in order to know that you are working with the new Zotero. There will be, if you upgrade the plugin, there will be a tooltip over there that you are working with. Save your citation to Primo 2018. This is what. This is currently, if you have February release and the Zotero plugin mentioned over the Save to Zotero 2018 to Primo of 2018, you will be able to work efficiently with Zotero. I can share that it's currently being in the testing phase, and if you have any issue working with that, you can open a case and we will contact Zotero and we will keep the integration. This is also my chance to say thank you for the Primo working group for helping this integration with Zotero. Okay. In this slide, I would like to share optimization we are thinking we are planning to do when working from a mobile device or tablet device. We see that there is a growing usage of in Primo using the mobile or tablet device. That is why we are planning to add the Remember Me option, which clicking that will keep the user sign in on his personal device. We are thinking that this will give a much better experience for the using and feeling, and I think working in his private device as opposed to working on a public terminal. We are also expecting to have a much more signed-in user in Primo once this will be implemented. So we are also planning to work on this direction. Okay, switch to you, Christine.
Oops. Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Okay. Yeah, so Primo Central collection activation is something that we would like to simplify. At the moment, you have to activate all your collections on your knowledge base. That's either in Alma, or if you have specs, it's on SFX. And then you go to your profile and you activate it there as well. So we're looking at the moment at processes to simplifying this whole interaction, maybe also to automate it in parts, or to make it just a little bit quicker, offer a few more tools, and yeah, also to automate it a little bit more. I think we actually made a mistake in the roadmap because it was first set for first half of 2018. That was just a mistake because we're actually planning it for the second half of 2018, so we need to correct this. But it's really about increased efficiency and making it a little bit simpler to activate collections and also to find the right collections that you subscribe to and that you want to have active on Primo Central.
Okay. Moving next to the next item, I would like to share plans about the linked open data. So with the linked open data, we are planning to extend to give much more exposure to the library catalog with other search engines. So we are planning to align to the standard of the search engine, of the standard of being searchable by other search engines like Google. So we are going to work with the standard of schema.org. With these enhancements, we are going to add metadata to the record page, so that Google robots or other search engine robots will be able to crawl the data and make your library records being discoverable in a much more efficient and smart way. So this metadata is going to be added by the schema.org format. I can share with you that there is a specifically format that is relevant for bibliographic record. So we are planning to expose and release it first with a testing partner on hopefully on May release, and once we will see that it's work perfect and the data, the content, the library catalog is being discoverable, and rank very well by the other by other search engine, we will release it for all customers. I can also tell that there will be in your selection, in your library selection, which scope of which library catalog to expose, and you will be able to see which metadata is being exposed to those search engines. Okay. Next, the publication of the Primo REST API. So as part of our product strategy of being open, we released in February the Primo REST API suite, which gives you the ability to play with Primo, calling our search API, together with the ability to, together with the configuration API and translation API, there will be an option for you to create create and access Primo as same as our new Primo UI is using. We intend to keep working on that and to extend it to enhance the Primo REST API, also to provide the My Favorites, and also to be able to search when I'm signing in to get restriction records as well. So altogether, with the publication of the Primo REST API and the Open Discovery Framework, we are providing we are providing you the ability to use Primo and search in our search engine, same as Primo is doing. Moving next, talking about the Open Discovery Framework. So when we launched the new interface, we also provided the site what we call the Open Discovery Framework, which is a framework that allows the library to customize Primo and Primo and give you the ability to integrate Primo to other stuff, or play with the look and feel to meet your needs. So during the year, we see a really nice example of the customizations we are doing. We are also tracking and see in the list that we are sharing customization and discussing with each other. Now, continue to work on that and also work closely with the Primo working group. We're thinking to enhance this Open Discovery Framework and to provide a tool for two use cases. One use case is to provide an easy way to brand the Primo new interface, easy way to change the color in Primo and also change the image, the logo. So we are going to provide this Primo customizer, allowing you to quickly change it. Also, another use case is seeing that you are sharing those features, customization among you. We are going to give you a framework, a platform to share those customization. So if institution choose to contribute those features that is customized with other institution, we will provide a way to download, a tool to let you download those community apps, community shared features into Primo, into your Primo. We will, with the ability to preview this in advance, and if you decided to take it and use those shared features, we will provide you a package to take it to your Primo. So we're helping you to leverage the community and with the contribution to help the integration and the customization of Primo for all. So you will see, I think that at Eluna, a really nice demo, and we are working with Primo working group to create some standards how to make those features shared and contribute by the community. Okay, I will switch to Yuval to discuss about the RefWorks.
Yeah, I hope all of you, or at least most of you, already heard the news that RefWorks is actually become one of the products in the Ex Libris family. It was moved from Progress responsibility to Ex Libris at the end of last year, and we are very happy on that. And one of the things we are looking in 2018 is really for the customer that have both Primo and RefWorks, to have a better synergy between the product in order to provide a better user flow and user experience for the one that using both Primo and RefWorks. And some of the ideas we have for this year is first of all, provide the user the ability to search directly in the Primo from the RefWorks interface. So actually, you can leverage your discovery solution for the RefWorks user, and the user can search for relevant materials within the RefWorks interface and add it to the RefWorks account without switching between two different interfaces. Another thing we are looking at is really how to help the user to add missing mandatory metadata for a specific formatting. Today in RefWorks, we have a nice capability that presents the user if there is any mandatory missing metadata within a specific record. And we would like, again, there are some use cases that a user can add a reference from any data source, and in some cases, the data source have a missing information in the metadata, and we would like to provide the user an automatic way to fill up this missing metadata directly from our central index. So if we have this record in the central index and it includes some of the missing metadata that was missing in the specific database or data source used, we will help him to fill up the gaps automatically from our central index. And last but not least, and I would put a disclaimer in terms of the time frame, but I think one of the early ways really to provide the user a unified workspace for all the Ex Libris products. So no matter if you're using Primo and save records to your favorite, or use RefWorks and save it to your RefWorks repository, or for example, you use Leganto, we want to provide the user one repository, one workspace that will use by all the products. So no matter which product you use, you always see your entire repository and workspace consistent between this product. Again, we put it in the second half of 2018, but I do believe that there is a lot of chances that it will move a little bit, and it will be only in 2019. But it's certainly something we are looking at starting this year. So that's about the synergy with RefWorks. And I think that was the last slide here, and we will start taking some questions, because I see there are a few questions, and there are questions we got only in advance. One question regarding the open access: will open access icon appear for journal that contains random open access article, and not the whole journal is open access?
Okay, I can take that. I assume you mean for hybrid journals where you have both. You have obviously articles which are open access and articles which are part of the subscription journal. Yes, it's actually by collection. So this is something that is particularly true for primary publishers like Springer, Elsevier, and the likes. So for those, we're creating separate collections, and in those collections, we put everything that is open access from these particular publishers. And this means articles that are coming from full open access journals, but also articles that are coming from hybrid journals. So which I assume is what you mean. I hope that answers the question.
I think that was what the purpose. But if the one that's asked that wants some clarification, please add it to the Q&A. Next question: will the database search have hierarchy categories list?
Again, the database search, yes, we'll have. We will build those categories list dynamically from the data. Dynamically for the data, we're thinking how to do that, how to make it really efficient for you to mark, how to associate from the mark, maybe for in advance the list. But we are checking an option how to provide it. But for sure, from the mark will be a category hierarchy. And I also saw questions on translation. Those categories are going to be translated. We are going to provide a code tables to translate it. So I can tell you that this is currently under examinations of how to implement it efficiently.
Okay, thanks, Nili. One question that I think we got also in advance for the session is regarding the Angular upgrade. The Angular framework which drives Primo, is it planning 2018 to update the framework to one of the newer Angular framework versions, 4.0 or 5.0?
So we are examining, I'm not sure that it's going to be part of 2018, but we are examining a way how to upgrade the Angular, and we will do it gradually, and you will expect to get more familiar with this once we will do it.
Okay, a question regarding the newspaper search. Is it planned to support a viewer or some other method to visualize, digitize historical newspaper directly within Primo? So I think here I will take it. Here our intention and what we are doing actually is very similar to how we work with the digital collection. We display the user the metadata, and we actually, once the user wants to get the full text of the newspaper, we actually redirect it to the source record, to the provider platform that provide us this newspaper, and you use the viewer that is being embedded in this platform. So it's very similar to the way we act with the digital collection. So you can navigate in the digital collection or find a digital object and see the entire information and metadata on that in Primo. And once you would like to take a look on with advanced viewer on the image, you've been redirected directly to the source platform. So that's the way we're planning to support it also in the newspaper.
Okay.
Let me see what else we have. Second. On the slide regarding the Remember Me functionality for the user personal device, there is also a bullet point that states enhance the user experience with a personalized discovery. Could you please elaborate on this a little bit more?
Yes, with the ability to know that we are now working on a private device on the user, we will be able to give a much better user experience with regarding to that. I can tell you that there was the issue with working on the session timeout. So if we know in advance, if we will have a checkbox of telling that please remember me, now I'm working on my private device, we could provide an endless timeout for this user. And we will be able to consider other features of exploration using those personalized data, and not only consider the variation of now we are working in the kiosk or on my private device. So this indication will give us much more, will help us in coming futures to distinguish between those use cases. Okay.
Okay. Unfortunately, I think we're running out of time, and we have more questions going on. Let me see if we can at least take a last one. And again, apologize for all the one that posted a question and we didn't address them yet. I assure you that we will respond to each one of them directly to you and provide you the response. Just looking. One last question here for now. If we have resource recommender and reference results, will those both fit above the fold?
Sorry, what was the question?
If you have resource recommender and a reference results,
yes,
will those both fit above the fold in the UI?
Well, they're above the result list. Actually, the reference entry is not going to be much bigger than it is today. It's already today on top of the result list. So it's going to be a little bit bigger because we separate it out of the result list and it gets a little bit of a different design. But it's not much bigger. But you're right, it's going to be above the result list. So it's going to push it a little bit down.
Okay. And again, we will respond to all the other questions. We are seeing that. Thanks a lot for all of you that attend this session. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope we will have a great 2018.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.